Yes, thank you very much for giving the opportunity to talk again. I was also last year at this event, but here was not Green Gateway Fund at this moment have not invested at this time. So I'm happy now to show after more than 1 year what happened, and thanks to Green Gateway Fund we make a big jump forward. Aquarion is a water technology group. We are a provider of total solutions. We are not producing a product, we are producing total solutions, and we try to offering advanced and differentiating technologies in order to generate these high margins what we have in mind. So we are an EPC player, meaning we make custom tailored plants for the needs of our customer. We are only focused on the industrial sector, not on the municipal sector. We are very much a technology-driven company. We are not a construction company building plants. We really put a lot of focus on technologies and differentiating innovative technologies. We also looking at services of recurring revenues, of operation maintenance, spare parts and so on. And finally, we also started offering financing for our clients on a POO, POT basis, means we sell water or we get paid for water we are sort of cleaning. Our group has grown a lot. Last year we were only here in Italy and in Germany. This is our main engineering centers where all the major engineering is done worldwide. So it's a very experienced team. We have now 2 companies in UK. We have also a very strong foothold with the acquisition of H&E. Caspar mentioned that a big German group, which is 80 years in this space, went into insolvency because the parent and the better parent, so you mean maybe Rena and Stulz is a name to you when you're in Germany, and we could buy out in an asset deal the H&E core division, which is the industrial division, and they are existing since 80 years and made every year between 55 and 70 million euro sales. We're always profitable, just the last 2 years they had minus, and so we got a very good basis and with thousands of reference plants. And one of the part of this deal was also in Southeast Asia, which is a booming region where we have in Malaysia a workshop, where we have also subsidiaries in Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and we have a pre-assembling work in Dresden, and we are also proud to say that we have Aquarion in Russia, in Kazan, we established, and we are going to start sales activities there, and we have even a company in Moscow going to establish there, and they got already the first order. Yes, this is our key customers, some names of who is who. We have very famous customers, and what was very important for us it was interesting when we took H&E out of insolvency. We got about 30 million euro order intake only from repeat customers which were happy with H&E, and they gave us order after H&E was saved. What our forecast, the revenues forecast is quite interesting, as you see. We had 2013 roughly 20 million euro sales, the number what we have forecasted. In 2014 we can only take half year H&E in our forecast, so we expect around 40 million euro sales. But next year we will exceed 80 million because we have a full year H&E group in our consolidation, and of course we want to continue organically with our revenue line, achieving more than 100 million in 2017 without further acquisitions. The EBITDA is an important part of our strategy. As you see, 2013 was 2 million. This year we expect, despite of insolvency, despite of many, let's say, costs we have inclined with that, we're expecting a slightly higher EBITDA, but the real growth came then in year 15, 16, 17. But all this is certainly based on that we have, what I will show you very soon, certain fulfillment of our strategy. So our mission is very clear, to become a really leading total water treatment solution provider for the oil and gas sector, which is still, I would say, even with H&E now, 1/3 of our business is in this sector, and in other heavy industries like energy and petrochemical and pulp and paper and so on. And we want to provide an enhanced EPC offerings. That means we want to combine not advanced technologies with proven and technology, and what we are proud on, we have a very good first-class project execution team in our group. So our vision is clear, that Aquarion should become a profitable business with more than 100 million and sales and a double-digit EBIT margin. Our brand portfolio, certainly HGLSS is now the biggest company in our group. We have GEM Water, what we had from the beginning on in Italy, a very well-established company, mostly active in geographical niche markets. We have H Oil and Gas, an offshore specialist in Scotland, and we have 2 minority stakes, which we also integrate and can use in our groups. The key markets I mentioned already, it's oil and gas, it's upstream and downstream, so we are offering also offshore in the upstream area and onshore. Here we have all the technologies, what is needed for water treatment. We are in the energy business, meaning providing water treatment plants for the power industry. We are chemical in mining industries, now very strong growing industry, apart from oil and gas. And certainly with the H&E acquisition, we have now access to semiconductor, steel industry. For example, semiconductor, we just won first orders with H&E in Russia on in this aspect, and we are also doing pulp and paper. So what are the key strengths of our group? First of all, and this is very important, this is a differentiating technologies. Access to this, what others don't have, so that we can offer a solution what our competitors can't do, meaning in regarding CapEx, OpEx, and footprint, or CO2 emissions. We have a ProSign expertise and a leading-edge understanding of all state of enhanced water treatment technologies. This is very important because you see many water technology companies, but most of them, the overwhelming part is focused either on biological or on membrane or on physical chemical or on thermal. We have deep knowledge, experience and references in all 4 main streams of the water technology area. Therefore, we can integrate solutions with all the process steps. So we are very flexible in fulfilling custom-tailored solutions, and we are very experienced in some countries where we can also, with Me-Too technologies, get very high margins, like Iraq, like Libya, like Iran, like Kazakhstan, but also markets like in Russia, where with H&E we have a really good tradition of doing business in this country. I mentioned already client financing, offering BOOD, and very important for us is a strong backbone in project engineering, project management. This must be really very good, otherwise we will not achieve our targets. And last but not least, we want to have a good life cycle offering services and so on. So what is our differentiation from competitors? Veolia is the world's biggest player in our field. It's a French group listed in Paris Stock Exchange, also Decremont Suez, but we also meet GE and Siemens and Camerons and others. Clear they have much more financial power, but we have some advantages. We have lower overheads. When we compete with Veolia, we're always pleased because they're always more expensive than us in normal. We can do better tailored solutions. Why? Because Veolia's and GE, they have to use their equipment. They try to sell to the clients their components. They don't want to go to independent. And this gives us a chance when we offer a better solution by using other components from other suppliers. And certainly we have also, of course, higher flexibility and also some networks, because a lot of small companies, they like to work with us than with a huge group because of the corporate culture of understanding the entrepreneurial mentality and so on. So here we have some advantage. When we look at the small and mid players. Of course, price-wise, they're very aggressive, so there is a more serious competitor from the price level. But here we can differentiate because of our network, what we create with strategic alliance, but mostly and most important with differentiating technologies, that we have some access to technologies what the others don't have, and then you win projects, and then you win it with good margins. So what's our long-term strategy? We really want only to look at high profitable projects in technological niche markets. For example, offshore water or the produced water is a very booming part. This is what you need more and more water to put oil out of the borehole. You need then to clean the water from the oil, also separate oil water, and the water you cannot re-inject anymore because it's too much water, so it must be somehow solved. And the big driver for us is here certainly the legislation, the environmental legislation, or spent caustic. There's only a world monopoly in a treatment which we can now break. And zero liquid discharge is becoming a very strong trend now. In many countries like Bahrain, Kuwait, also in northern China, in India, water is so scarce that it's mandatory for all industrial companies and works to reuse water 100%, up to 100%. They are not allowed to discharge any water anymore, and this drives the zero liquid discharge market at the moment. We also want to make in geographical niche markets. We have a lot of experience in countries like Iran, Nigeria, and Libya, and certainly we are going for comprehensive turnkey solutions where we want to have a proprietary, this is important, differentiating solutions, and of course this paired with strong recurring revenues in POOTs and O&M transfers. Just to give you a very fast, this is an example of differentiating solutions. Everybody hears about reverse osmosis. We have access to forward osmosis, means a dramatic reduction in energy costs. We have coated UF membranes, which cannot have no biofouling. We have an ultrasonic technology, which, if this really works, is a real breakthrough in the market. So here are some very exciting things where we're working on. And here you see the story of Aquarion starting in 2010 and with no sales and 6 million in year one, and now we are coming next year over 80 million euro sales. So thank you very much. That was a short overview.
What the sales cycle for that deal is, how long it takes from kind of, and then thirdly, probably most importantly, in your revenue projections, kind of how much of that for next year is already booked? You know, kind of what lead time do you have on bookings?
Yes, first of all, our normal size is between 1 and 10 million euro. I would say that's the average size. We have also handled projects with $40 million in the past, but we have very few which are below 1 million euro. So that's in general the size. It depends on the countries, how long is the time until you get the order or the decision is done. If it's Iraq, it's Iran, it's Libya, you need to wait up to 2 years until you get a decision on a project. So it takes very long time. In the western parts and in Russia it's going much faster. So it is maybe 6 months until you have a decision on a project if there's not something special happening. Yes, next year, this following, we have got now in the meantime, as of end of October, almost 45 million euro order intake only for H&E Group. We have problems now with GEM Water because their main markets are Libya, Iraq and Iran, which are not very nice places at the moment to make business, but they are successful to get now business from Saudi Aramco and from ADNOC in Abu Dhabi. So from this point of view, I would say we should have at least 50% of next year's sales in backlog at the end of the year.
Cool, thank you.
A couple of questions around the risk. You seem to have definitely thought through your sales forecast and all the risk factors you have to deal with. I was wondering, what would be the one risk that you need to address in order to guarantee to achieve the forecast of your sales in the next few years, actually? That's the first question. The second question is, you're already expanding geographically to some key targeted regions. And when you get into a new market, there are a lot of risks the culture, the market, whatever you have to deal with. My understanding, if I get it correctly, actually, merger and acquisition is a major strategy for you to get into those local markets. China, for example, we have lots of water solution companies, and they are your competitors. But in order to get a bigger piece of the market, actually, you definitely need to reach out to local partners in order to address local protectionism and other barriers. I just wonder, say, how do you, is that correct understanding, say, merger acquisition is the best strategy to do so? The last question, actually, and related to that, you definitely have worked out the timeline. With some potential risks, I was asking you to answer, there could be potentially delay, because when you do merger and acquisition, usually it takes longer time. And to what extent will you be able to guarantee that you have to address those risks, in the meantime, actually really achieve the targets of sales as you have laid out? Thank you.
So thank you. Very good questions. I hope I remember all of them. Now, first of all, the main risk on the bottom line is accurate cost accounting and professional project management. That these orders we win, we must bring the margin home. And this is for the bottom line the biggest thing. I would say as general risk is, I don't know, it's difficult to say. If the oil price drops to $40, then there will be no oil water separation anymore. But you asked me for the biggest one, I would say my biggest concern is that we execute the orders correctly. From the growth side, it's not difficult. The water is a mega trend, water business, as you all know. And we get every week dozens of inquiries from all corners of the world. So we filter, we cannot do all. So we really have very selection where we can offer, where we think the best chances, where's the lowest technical risk, is the client solvent, etc. So that's the one part. The other part is, with acquisitions, we can do in our engineering centers most of the projects worldwide, because we just won a project in Australia. We won projects in Indonesia, we won projects in Russia, we won projects in Libya and Algeria and Nigeria. So this is not a problem because we go with the customers. But we need local partners, like China is a good example. Just this week I meet the CEO of a bigger Chinese water company. They really want us to team up with them to go into the Chinese zero liquid discharge market. And this shows we have a local partner, we team up, we bring our part, they bring the local part, and the network and connection, because without relations in a local market is impossible. This is true for Russia, it's true for China. And the third question was?
The potential risk, delay your...
I think in our acquisition, most important is to get access to these differentiating technologies. And that can be licensing, sometimes it must be acquisitions, because if we don't have an exclusive access, we win one project, but in the next project, all will run to this technology. So somehow we have to secure access, and ideally we have an exclusive access to this application or to this technology. Otherwise, we will not get these EBITDA margins I have shown you.
You know, what we're talking about here is a business that really operates on several tiers. You've got individual projects, and the question really is, what is your target margin at the project level? Then as you grow and you extend yourself globally, one of the ways in which small companies get into lots and lots of trouble is that the G&A to manage a global enterprise sometimes gets really quite out of hand. And oftentimes it's more important to focus geographically than it is to extend yourself globally until you have critical mass. So the question is, how are you handling this G&A issue? And at the bottom line, what are the target margins for the company as it matures?
This is 10% what we want, and at the moment we are not there because we bought H&E, and H&E make in the past 3 to 5% EBIT margin only, and they continue to do this like they have done before. So we have to give them new markets geographically, or have to give them new technologies to come to the higher margin. This is the one part we are doing now, and therefore this is a very important thing. And the G&A is, when I was running once a bigger group, I had 1,600 people, and we had to take every job into our pipeline to feed the people, the engineers. This I want to avoid, or we want to avoid with Aquarion Group. We want to stay a slim team, but clear, in engineering, a lot of productive people and as less as possible as G&A people. And you can work with strategic alliances a lot. You need not to be everywhere in a country. You can also team up with other players, which I believe very much in this.